Good morning, campers. This video is going to be about curtain walls. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make a reasonable curtain wall, a designed curtain wall. I'm also going to show you how to turn a corner with a curtain wall in this one. So this will be very similar to what we did in class, but I want to do a outside corner and an inside corner on this one. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'm just going to start with a very simple generic 12-inch wall. Um, you can, of course, follow me right along in your actual project if you like. So I'm going to go 24 feet, 24 feet, 24 feet. Okay, that looks good. I'm actually going to delete these elevations. I don't want to be dealing with those. Actually, let's go to the south one real quick. Just want to define the levels. Let's do level 2 at 15 feet. And I'm going to select this wall and have it go up to level 2. So there's our wall. Well, actually, I'm going to delete this anyways. So I'll go back over here. Delete the south elevation there. And I'll just delete the marker here. All right, so I've got this. I'm going to type in ZE for zoom extents. There's my wall. And let's make a 3D view of it. So I'm just going to go up here, make a default 3D view. I like to make a 3D view to sort of, I like to switch back between this and the plan to sort of see what I'm doing, so I know exactly where I am, three-dimensionally. So it's always good to have kind of both views open. So I'm going to set up my views, display settings. Let's do cast shadows too. That looks pretty cool. I think I might turn down my shadows just a little. That looks good right there. All right, so what I want to do is put a curtain wall starting like about here, going over, turning the corner, and going all the way to about here. So I'm going to have sort of a outside corner and inside corner. This we can, let's just, for the sake of this little lecture, pretend this is the interior and this is the exterior. All right, so if I go up to wall architectural and go down my list here, I have the list of the 3 curtain walls. Now, let's just review the 3 real quick. Excuse me. The first one is a pane of glass. The next one is a pane of glass with divisions. And the last one is a pane of glass with divisions with mullions applied to all those divisions. We can easily turn this one into this one. And really vice versa. We can turn off the mullions in this one, and we can delete some of the grid lines and take it back to this one. For the sake of this class and your assignment, I'm going to delete these 2 out of my families. Okay, so I'm going to go down to my families here. I'm going to go to walls, and I'm going to go to curtain wall, and there are the 3. I'm going to grab these 2, and I'm just going to delete them. So now when I go into wall, I only have the 1. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. It's just to prevent confusion more than anything. All right, so let's have this pane of glass go from level 1 up to level 2. Now, before you draw it, you want to make sure in edit type that you turn on automatically embed right here. Okay. I am going to turn on my mouse so you guys can really see what I'm doing. There we go. All right. So let's do that one more time. Wall architectural. It's already on curtain wall. I'm going to go to edit type, check automatically embed. I'm going to rename this, and I'm just going to call it curtain wall. Okay. All right, so let's just start with the pane of glass. All right. So I want this glass to go from level 1 up to level 2. Location line is set to wall center line. That's fine. So I'm going to start just somewhere over here. And I'm going to go to here. It's kind of clicking right there. All right. Now I'm going to try to click right at the end of that wall and go to here. Okay. And then I'm going to click. Oops, I lost it there. The end of this wall and go to about there. All right. Now let's go to the 3D view. So we've got a couple anomalies. First off, we got these weird like things at the corner. Revit's like, I don't really get what you want me to do here. There's a gap or something, so it's reading part of the wall there. Same with over here. And our glass is going all the way to the top, and I don't really want that to happen. So I'm going to select these first, and I'm going to have them go up to level 2 with a top offset of -3 feet. Okay, it's already looking better. Now let's fix these corners. The best way to do it is to adjust the profile on each of these walls. So I'm going to grab this wall first and click Edit Profile. Okay, this is the profile of that wall, the outer boundary. The curtain wall lives in there, and the wall subtracts wherever the curtain wall is. Now, we could do it that way, or we could draw the exact shape of the wall we want, and in the void, put the curtain wall. So there's two ways to sort of put it in there. Put the curtain wall in the empty space that you carved out, or just put the curtain wall in the wall. But putting the curtain wall in the wall isn't working for us really because this corner gets goofy. So I'm going to redefine. So I'm going to just draw a new profile, and it's going to be shaped like this. Start at the corner, go over, down, over, down, over, up. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a vertical line here. So I always do this poorly first, but I want to make sure this is on the horizontal there. And now I'm going to clean this up. Something like that. Okay. And then I'm going to use the align tool and snap it right to my curtain wall. I'll hit the green check. All right. So that actually fixed this part, but I still want to carve out each of the walls just so they always behave correctly. So I'm going to edit the profile of this one. Now this one's a lot easier. I'm just going to align the bottom line to there. Say remove constraints, whatever that was, and see what we get. That looks good. And now one last wall here. This one might be, will be exactly like the first one. So I'm going to do edit profile. Go to my line tool. Go straight up. Go straight over. Like I always say, do it poorly and then clean it up, move it into place. Okay, and get the green check. And now this one's correct. There's no mass there, but my curtain wall is a little goofy there. So let's go back to the plan now. Let's see if we can clean these up. One tool I like to use here is the modify trim extend to corner, because you can use this for lines like I just did, and you can use it for walls. So sometimes it works. Let's see if we can get it to work here. Didn't really like it. So now I think it already is thinking that these two are crossing at that boundary, but I'm going to overextend them here, and now I'm going to try. Yeah, there we go. That's a good way to do it. So overextend each side, and then trim extend to the corner. See, it thinks that it's already connected, even if there's a gap. do the same here. Okay, this one looks a little different. Let's see why that is. So I'm going to turn on my thin lines. It's going to do that, and I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to clean up this one. I really don't know like how these should align, It's really, I always say just, come on, you. You don't like me, do you? All right. Okay, let's see if we can do it now. All right, that looks good. Maybe I can clean this one further. Let's see. All right, now they're sort of both the same. So if I go to here, and that's looking pretty good there. So now I've got a nice, my walls are clean. My curtain walls are living where they should live. They're just not designed yet. So this is really where the fun comes in. So now I could bake in the divisions to this type and just bake them in, or I can do them one off. So I'm going to bake them in first, and then I'll do it as a one off to show you the difference. So actually, I'll show you the one off first, and then I'll bake them in. So here, let's say we want to carve up this curtain wall. If I go to architecture and then go to curtain grid, okay, this is just saying add grid lines to a piece of glass. Okay. I'm going to kind of snap over on this edge. To get the horizontals, you go to the vertical edge. So I'll put one there. And to get the verticals, you go to the horizontal edge. So I want this to be centered. It'll snap. Let's see if we can get, there's center. And I'll do center here. And I'll do center here. And then, so this is all segments. So it's going to go across the whole panel. If I change this to one segment, I can do something like this. And you can also, again, do this poorly. And then you can use your align tool to, I'm just going to say okay there. And okay there, because I'm moving one grid line to another grid line. So these are now on one grid line. So it deleted one of the grid lines. Okay, so I've designed this one out, but now I want to add some mullions. So now I'm going to go to architecture, mullion, and I can say, I could put it on just one grid line like this and just do, say, the horizontal. I could do it on one grid segment and just do like that one. And I could do it on all of them and then just click the whole thing, and there they all are. So I have a lot of mullions on there now, and this window's sort of being designed. So that's how you would go about just doing it as a one-off. Now I'm going to undo that. And I want to show you how to bake them in. So what we're going to do with this curtain wall is we're going to bake in some things, and then some things we're going to put as one-offs outside of the curtain wall. So if I select this, how tall is this? Let's figure that out. I'm going to go to my plan, and I'm going to set up my own elevation. So I'm going to go view, elevation. I'll just go right there. If I hit the triangle here, I can sort of just set this up exactly to what I want to look at. There it is. If I go to modify ruler here, I'm going to just see how high this is. 12 feet. Okay. Let's go back to our 3D. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to go to edit type. There we go. Sorry, I had to cough. All right. So let's look at some of our settings. So for the vertical grid, I could set that here, but actually what I want to do in this is set the horizontal grid. So I'm going to say set a horizontal grid at a fixed distance every 2 feet. Okay, you can keep on this adjust for mullion size. Grids are positioned so the spacing parameter establishes the distance between the interior faces of the mullions. So when you say adjust for mullion size, each piece of glass will be the same size. When you don't have that on, probably the ones on the ends will be a different size than the ones in the middles. Okay, so let's just go with this. Every 2 feet, I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so since I baked it in, this is what's going to happen. All right, now let's just leave it at that for the division. Oops, let me select this. Go to curtain wall. Now let's add some mullions. So we have vertical mullions and horizontal mullions. So I am just going to assign mullions to all these, and I'll just, now you could switch these up and, do different mullions for different areas. I'm going to do all 2.5 by 5. There we go. Same here. Okay, and there. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, it put mullions everywhere, including the corners, and we kind of having these two situations crashing together. I'll show you how to fix that. So now I just have horizontal mullions. I'm going to go back in there, and let's set the joint condition. Well, I have vertical mullions too, but it's just happening at the edges, right? The borders, the end of it and the corners. So under joint condition, let's go in here, and let's say horizontal grid continuous. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. Now, all my verticals are broken by the horizontals. So I like the look of that because this is sort of a wrapping curtain wall and I want to keep with that. All right, I'm going to add some more verticals, but first let's handle these corners. So what I'm going to do is just select the corner just like that. Okay? So I just made a selection here. I've selected both sides. I'm going to go ahead and see what we're grabbing here. So this is all mullions. They all are pinned at the moment. So I'm actually going to go up here to unpin them. Okay, and now I can change them. So instead of all these mullion segments, let's just do a corner 5-inch V corner. Let's try that. Now it says a corner mullion has been placed at the end of the curtain wall, is not joined to the other curtain wall. Okay. Oh, that's what that did. So that's not very helpful. So what I'm going to do is actually go to level 1. Let's take a look at what's going on here. I'm going to bring these two right to overlap on each other. Maybe we can get them to talk properly. Okay, so because what should have happened is all those segments should go away and we should just have our one mullion. So I'm going to go to the V corner again. Okay, a corner mullion has been placed. Let's see what happened here. It's not how I want it. All right, I'm going to try one more thing. Okay, I'm going to do this. That's what I'm looking for. See how this now says delete elements? So it's saying, hey, do you want to delete these little segments and just have the one? Yes, I don't want any mullions overlapping. Okay, there we go. That looks good. Now, getting these two to talk to each other, you can see is a challenge. So I'm going to go to that trim extend to corner again, and I'm just going to do that again and see if they're going to work right away. So I grabbed all the mullions. I am going to unpin them, and I'll change them to that V corner. I'm getting this. That's great. I'm just going to hit delete elements. And now I have a nice interior corner there. All right, this looks good. So we're off to the races. So let's make a new mullion type. All right, so I'm going to grab I'm going to tab through to grab this mullion. All right, let me show you how to do that. So I'm hovering over, hitting tab till I find it. I'm going to unpin it, and then I'm going to go to edit type, and I'm going to go to duplicate, and I'm just going to call this custom deep. I'm going to make a deep mullion here. So the thickness of the mullion is 5 inches. That's how deep it is. Okay, so I'm going to change that to 1 foot. Okay, and I'm still going to leave it 2.5 inches. So that's 1.25 on each side of my grid line. That equals 2.5 inches. Okay, it's a little weird how they name these things, but that's what we have here. Now I'm going to hit OK. So I've just made a new mullion type right there. Okay, now I'm going to go, and it applied it just to that one, which is fine. But now I'm going to go into my curtain wall. And under horizontal mullions interior type, I'm going to change that to custom deep. Okay, now all my interior ones from like here to here are all custom deep, and all the ones on the borders and stuff are the thinner ones. So I'm digging how that looks. All right. Now I'm going to go to my level 1. I actually have the elevation open. I'm going to just look at this elevation. I like to turn on shadows here so I can see the depth. So I'm just going to throw some verticals in here as a one-off. So I'm going to go to architecture, curtain grid. I'm going to do one segment in the middle there. Come on, baby. It's going to give me a mullion. All right. I think I meant, let's do curtain grid. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm going to do a curtain grid. Sorry, not a mullion, because it needs a curtain. A mullion always needs a curtain grid. Let's get this right in the... Now, I can do this poorly. Okay, I'm going to just do it poorly and show you. And I'm just going to align them then. Let's put that one there. And I want 2 over here again. So I know the top 2 are aligned where I want them. So now I'm going to go to my align tool. Okay. Got overlapping grid lines, so it's always going to give you that warning. That's not what I wanted. Let's try again. Let's just do this and hit OK. I just want both of them to be there. Okay, there we go. Here. Another good way to do this is actually just making one whole mullion and then you delete the segments in between. So that probably would have been a better way, so you wouldn't get all these warnings. Okay, that looks good. I dig how that looks. All right, let's see how that looks in 3D. That's looking pretty cool. Now I'm going to do something different over here. So I'm going to make another elevation and put it right here so I can see what's going on. Okay, there it is. Now, what if I wanted to put some doors in here? All right, so let's get some mullions in here and let's think about this. So first thing I'm going to do is go to my curtain grid. I'm just going to throw one right in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put one right here. Okay, these are 6 feet apart here. So that's kind of nice because I could put double doors and double doors because they would be 3-foot doors, right? And let's see how high they are. 2, 4, 6, 8. So it'd be nice to do a double door and a double door going up to this mullion. So what I need to do is remove all the mullions in here and grid lines. Actually, remove them all over here and remove them all over here. All right, now you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to go to my 3D view. Actually, go back to the elevation. So I'm going to select each of these mullions, unpin them, and just delete them. So I want to get rid of this one, that one. Okay, and one more. Okay, I want to keep this. Now I want to get rid of these grid lines here. So I'm going to click on grid line, or actually I'm just going to click on the grid line, go up here to, so select nothing, click on the grid line, go up here to add remove segments, click what segment you don't want, click in space. Grid line, add remove segments, click which one you don't want, click in space. We probably could click both of these at once and then click in space, which it looks like I just did. Saves us a little bit of time. Okay, so how do we get doors in here? So let's go to our 3D view. So I have, if I hover over and hit tab on this edge, I have a panel here, panel here. Now if I select that panel, I can change it from a glazed panel to a solid panel if I want. So you could play with that by having some panels opaque, some glazed. But what we want to do is just turn these into doors. So the first thing I need to do is import all of my curtain wall doors. So I'm going to go to Insert, Load Family, Doors, and anything that says curtain wall here, I'm just going to open those. Okay. Now they're in the project. Okay, so you might have a tendency now to go up to architecture doors and look for them. Okay, but they're not going to be there. Here's how you find those curtain wall doors. I'm going to select this panel. I'm going to go up to the type selector. So here are all my doors. So it's saying you want to turn this panel into a single door, a double door with mullions, or a double door just glass. I'm going to do a double door with mullions. There it is. I'm going to do the same to this one. Okay. Double door storefront. Okay, now if I go to plan, I actually have doors there. Now technically these need to go move outward for like an exterior door. But there you go. That's how you get doors into storefront. One last thing I want to show you about curtain walls is, let's say on this particular mullion, I wanted to break this horizontal. Okay, so I could click this mullion and hit this little like star join piece. Okay, we'll do the same over here. Do the same here, here. Same here and there. There you go. It's kind of cool. You can really use that as a compositional tool, because this is sort of breaking things up a little bit. The other thing you'll notice, excuse me, is this mullion is centered on this mullion. Now I can go to this mullion type, go to edit type, and there's an offset button here that I can put a positive or negative number. I'm going to do -2 inches. Let's see what that does. Okay, that moved them all out. So I want them to stick out. So I'm going to do -3. Good. So now they're all sticking out towards me, and they're continuous on the corner here. So I'm digging that. All right, that's a pretty cool looking curtain wall. So that does it for curtain walls. In your project, I am asking you also to give me a close-up detail of your curtain wall. Oops, I want to do that. a close-up detail of your curtain wall. So find the coolest curtain wall in your project and give me a close-up. So on this particular one, maybe on this view, I'm on a 3D view. I'm going to actually rename this view 3D curtain wall close-up. Now let's say I just want to showcase the corner. Okay, I'm actually going to turn on the clipping boundary down here, and I'm just going to chip away at this a little bit. Maybe I want to include those doors. I'm going to get that in there, and then I'm going to turn off that clipping boundary, but this would be a good example of a close-up. Okay, then I can play with my scale. So maybe I want this to be bigger or smaller on the sheet, but since it's in orthographic projection, I can scale it as I see fit. So what I did there was use 3D views to sort of design and do what I need to do, but then I renamed the 3D view and made it my actual close-up. Now notice I can rotate in here, even though it's being clipped. If you want to lock the position and so I can't rotate, you can simply click on this button right next to the eyeglasses. If I click on it, I can hit Save Orientation and Lock View. Okay. And now I can't rotate. I believe I can zoom in and out, and I can pan a little bit, but I can't change my angle. So this view, say, might be ready now to throw on a sheet. If this is sort of what you want to showcase, you can play around with using different settings here to get the look that you want as well. Okay, I hope this is helpful. Curtain walls are fun. You just gotta know how to use them. I always think it's a combination of baking things in and doing things one off. Okay,